on the top of the next available page, you should have on the page before this your sentence, fragment, and run-on foldable. So the next page, whether that's the back side of the sheet or the front side of the next sheet, I'm going to have you write coordinating. We're going to write quite a long title today, so start it over on the side here. Coordinating conjunctions. And then next to it in parentheses, I want you to write, F-A-N-B-O-Y-S in all capital letters. It's a little acronym we're going to help remember here. So you need to have your sentences packet, and we are going to be using two of the foldables that are on this page here. So this page, you are going to first take this little superhero guy that I have, and you are going to glue it in the middle of the page, the whole back side of the page. And you're going to glue it in the middle. This goes first on the page. Okay. Then, after that is glued down, you are then going to take this sheet here. It says fanboys going down, and you're going to cut all the way around the outside of this shape here, just like so. Okay, so then you have a foldable that looks like this. Let me zoom out just a tad here. Okay, so you'll notice that the bottom of this is a straight line here. You are actually going to take this, and before we glue anything down, we're going to do the folding first, and then we'll glue down. So you're going to take, you'll see that each one of these sections has dotted lines in between each letter. We are going to fold this accordion style. So first you're going to take the long section here and you're going to fold it over and on top of the word so at the bottom. Okay, then you're going to take it backward and you're going to fold up, but or is going to be up at the top. Okay, so now it says sentence or sentence. We're then going to take this and we're going to fold, it's sticking up, over across the bottom. So now we're seeing the back side of it. Do the same thing. We're going to have nor showing now. Then we're going to fold over again, like so. And then our last piece, we're going to fold upward. So it's an accordion style. Okay, so when you're done, 4 should be facing the top. We're then going to flip it over, and we're going to glue this whole back side down at the bottom of the page. Right underneath our superhero guy. Okay, so on the page it'll sit like this, but then when we are looking at all the coordinating conjunctions, we will then be able to pull this up and it's an accordion, just like this. Okay, so coordinating conjunctions, we're going to write either, find a spot that's either at the top, or if you have room on the side, that's totally fine. Coordinating conjunctions, they combine simple sentences, which we will look at in a little bit. And they are considered part of a compound sentence. They combine simple sentences, which when you combine two simple sentences together, you get a compound sentence. So you know that if you have a coordinating conjunction or a fanboys being used in a sentence, you have what's called a compound sentence. So luckily, these are the only coordinating conjunctions that exist in our language. For and nor, but, or, yet, and so. When I was learning about coordinating conjunctions, my teacher in middle school showed me this or a similar picture of a little superhero guy. And they told me to picture a superhero standing with a cape blowing backward behind them in the wind, their hands on their hips standing straight up, and across their chest it says fanboys. And so fanboys come and superheroes come and they solve problems, they save the day, they connect people together in positive ways. Same with coordinating conjunctions. Okay, I know that's kind of a cheesy connection here, but for whatever reason, it still sticks with me today. So fanboys, I want you to think of the little superhero guy when you hear those coordinating conjunctions or compound sentence. The next page then we are going to label, and again, this is going to be a long title here, subordinating conjunctions. And then we're going to have another parentheses, another set of acronyms. AWUBIS. AWUBIS. Now that sounds super, super fun. But it helps you remember it. And it still to this day helps me remember it also. So you have a little tiny list that I fortunately wasn't able to make bigger unless it was blurry when I printed it out. So you do have a pretty small list. But this list actually is the best list that I've seen with the most popular subordinating conjunctions that could be used in sentences. So we're actually just going to glue the whole back side of this little guy down, and we're going to put it in the middle of the page. We may come across some subordinating conjunctions in sentences that are not on this list. So if we do, we will have plenty of room around the outside of this tiny list to write them in and fill them in. Now, just like we did in the last page, subordinating conjunctions, they combine different sentences. They either combine a simple and a compound sentence or another variation of it, which we'll get to in a second. But they are part of what we call a complex sentence. So you have 3 degrees of sentences: simple, compound, and complex. Okay, we're going to be talking about that in a couple pages from now. So just hang on to that thought for a second. We'll revisit this when we get there. Now, AWUBIS, for whatever reason, I think of this monster, like this Star Wars type creature. It's kind of like a Bigfoot, big, furry. Not sure why, AWUBIS. And I kind of think of their very rare, unique animals or creatures, and so are complex sentences. They're kind of there's more structure to them. They're more complicated, not as seen very often, but as you get more and more confident in your writing, especially in high school, you'll be using complex sentences quite a bit. All right, now we have one more page that we're going to cut out and glue in a foldable, which is the next page in your composition notebook. So then we're going to write just at the top conjunctions. This is going to be just a plain page with talking about both subordinating and coordinating conjunctions. Now you were given, the next page in your packet has this booklet here. Okay, you're going to cut this all the way around the outside. Just cut off that little bit of extra white space that's around the outside. And this might actually be, oh, it is too big for the page. All right, so what we will do then is I'm going to have you cut, I'll shift up a little so you can see. I'm going to cut part of this top off. We don't need this whole section. Okay, just like that, so that it fits on the page a little bit more. And you know what? Let's do this. Let's cut all the way across on this solid line in the middle, and you even cut across this little tab at the side. And then what's left is the subordinating conjunctions tab. Let's do the same. Let's cut that little white chunk off the top just so that they fit on the page. So we have two smaller tabs that fit. I apologize, I didn't shrink these down for you. Let me zoom out a little bit here. So then when you have them cut out, you should have conjunctions up at the top of your page. And then we have two separate flaps. So just cut these two flaps, trim them down a little bit so that they fit on the page. And then what you're going to do finally is glue the back side of these tabs down. Put coordinating conjunctions at the top, and then do the same thing with the back side of the tab of subordinating conjunctions, and put that down below here. So we are going to be writing underneath these flaps, so we want to make sure it's kind of like a little flip booklet. So then we'll fold them over like that, and we'll be all set to write the notes. All right, so these notes are just kind of combining what we talked about here. We're going to be adding to these a little bit as we go through past today's lesson. I'll tell you when we're adding more to them. So zoom in a little bit here so you can see a little bit better. And underneath the coordinating conjunctions tab, it says forming sentences. Are you joining words? No comma is needed. Are you joining phrases? Use a comma before the conjunction. We will be getting into these a little bit more in the next couple days, so that front part will make sense in a little bit. But underneath this tab, I want you to write fanboys and kind of space out the letters of the acronym a little bit so we can write the word that letter is representing in the acronym underneath: for, and, nor, but, or, yet, and so. Okay, now let's do a couple examples here. So I have some words examples that these conjunctions are not combining parts of sentence, or not combining multiple sentences together, but they're just used as a normal word in a sentence. So first one, is your dog big or little? You'll see that or is used, and that's just being used as a normal word in the sentence. It's not joining two small sentences together, which is what a simple sentence is. It's just being used to compare two things. Okay, another one. My dress is red and black. So again, we're just kind of comparing two things or adding two things together, two small bits of the sentence, but not two separate sentences together. Now, down below, we'll have phrases. And here is where we will be adding two parts of a sentence or two different sentences together. I feel tired, comma, but I couldn't sleep. So here's where, like we said on the coordinating conjunctions page, it combines simple sentences, and it's part of a compound sentence. Once you put two small sentences together, if you ignore that middle part there and the comma, I feel tired, I couldn't sleep. Each one of these is considered a simple sentence. Simple sentences are kind of like the picture books that you read when you were really little. I feel tired. I couldn't sleep. My dog ran home. Those are what I like to consider simple sentences. Coordinating conjunctions with a comma and the conjunction can combine two simple sentences together into one to make it a little more older of a sentence. It's not your typical first grade sentence. I feel tired. I couldn't sleep. Which some of those are okay in sentences, but we don't want all of our writing to be those simple sentences. So coordinating conjunctions combine two simple sentences. Here's another one. I misplaced my book, comma, so I won't be able to finish the chapter. The word so is used as a coordinating conjunction to combine those two simple sentences. So if I got rid of the comma in the coordinating conjunction, I would have I misplaced, I made a spelling error here. I misplaced my book. I misplaced my book. That could be a sentence on its own. Going off the other side, I won't be able to finish the chapter. That's a sentence on its own. But now we combine those two simple sentences together with that conjunction and a comma, and we have a more mature sentence, a little bit more older of a sentence, more sixth grade sentence, not necessarily two simple sentences, first grade sentences. Okay? All right, now down below, subordinating conjunctions. Let's go to that one. This one, we have that huge list on the back, so we're not going to list any here. I'm just going to write see list on page, and I know that mine is on page 19 because it's the page right before this. Please put in what your page number is for your subordinating conjunctions list, which is that little tiny list like this. Okay. All right, so going back to that page, see list on page 19, we now have some examples here. First example, we can't leave until I finish eating. We can't leave until I finish eating. So you'll see that until is a subordinating conjunction. That's an awubis word. That is combining two simple sentences. We can't leave. I finish eating. Now you probably realize, I finish eating? That can't be a sentence on its own. And we'll get to that in tomorrow's lesson. But what subordinating conjunctions do is they combine what we call an independent and a dependent clause. Okay, we're just going to copy down these notes today. We will touch base tomorrow on independent and dependent clauses. Here's another example. Before you leave, comma, you must clean your room. Before is your subordinating conjunction, and sometimes they'll start sentences like that. Okay, that's all the notes for today. There's no homework with it. We just were copying down the notes and setting our notes up for more work on these tomorrow. So that's it. Feel free to revisit these if you did not get any of these notes finished as I was finishing them.